Hey everybody, it's Dusty again. So today we have a coin-operated Whirlpool dryer. It's making a pretty loud noise, and I'll put that noise in the video from the customer sending it to me. So here we have a blower and motor assembly with even a new pulley wheel, which is nice. Don't need this, but it's good to have. So the reason we've got this entire assembly is because of this right here. You could order a motor and blower separately, but especially on older dryers, the blower wheel here is plastic and it's reverse thread onto this motor. So what that means is that over time of this motor spinning and spinning and spinning, this blower wheel will melt itself to the motor spindle and it will pretty much marry itself to the motor. So even if you were able to get the blower wheel out, you'd break it in the process, and I don't think you can also re-thread it onto this motor. So I went ahead and ordered an entire assembly for it, so we don't have any issues moving forward with the repair. So let's get this thing apart. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a flathead screwdriver. There are going to be two locking tabs right here and right here on both sides of the dryer. So we can pull this bottom cover off. They're really hard to see on the video, but if you stick your screwdriver in there, you should be able to feel around for it. There it is right here. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull down on that tab until it pops out, just like that. So we're gonna do it to the other side as well. So now that we got both sides out, we can pull this bottom panel out now. As you can see, the little compression tabs. You just push down on them with a screwdriver and this bottom panel will kind of come out. Now, this dryer is a bit dirty. We have to clean that out as well, but we'll get to that later. And we're gonna have two screws down here. We're gonna have this one right here and this one right here. We're gonna take those out, as well as we're going to take apart this blower casing here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, and this whole panel will come out. So after we get those screws out, we got them right there. We're gonna take out the lid trap of course, and it's gonna pop right out. And look, we got a sock. That might have been your cause right there that caused this thing to have some issues. So let's go ahead, take this thing apart and get it replaced. One thing you want to keep in mind with these coin-operated machines is that these screws in front, they're going to be the torque security screws, and in this case we're going to need I believe it's a T20 or a T15 security bit, which has a little hole in the front of it, so you can actually take these out. You're going to need to do it. You can get these anywhere at like a Harbor Freight, Lowe's, or Home Depot. You can just buy a pack of these, but you're going to need them to take these two screws out. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take, I've already done it in this video, but we're going to take a flathead screwdriver. We're going to pry up on this door, and it's going to pop the lid free of these two little tabs. Just take a screwdriver, pop it up. Two screws, one right here and one on the other side. Take those two out, disconnect the door switch, and this door will come out. Now that we have the dryer door off, we're going to put that to the side. Now we got to get the drum out. So first thing we're going to have to do is take this belt off. Can be a little bit tricky, but let's go show you how to do that here. So if we look in here, you're going to see the belts coming from that pulley and out. It's easy to take off, a bit more of a complicated thing to get it back on, but it's easy once you do it a couple of times. So we're going to go ahead and take that belt off. We're going to, you can see my hand here. All I'm going to do for this one is just pull the pulley and slip the belt off. Pull off the dryer. Now we got it free. Now that we got the belt free, we can remove it from the dryer. Just pull it straight out. Put this belt to the side. Come out. Now we got the drum completely apart. We should be able to pull it just straight out. Taking the drum straight out. Alright, so now we are into the machine. We've got our blower and motor assembly here. Our pulley wheel in the back is what we're going to be replacing. First thing we want to do is take off the motor plug. There's these two tabs, one on the top, on the bottom. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but just kind of shimmy that off. You go, there's your motor plug undone. And for this case, we don't even have to take off the pulley wheel because we've got it on the new assembly. If I were you, I'd recommend taking a picture of where all these wires go. In my case, I'm just going to reference my video. But we're going to take a picture of where all these wires go because we're going to disconnect them all. Not too many, so we're going to take this one, pull it off. That's your thermal fuse. So if your dryer isn't heating, this could be a culprit. Really, any one of these thermostats could be a culprit if your dryer wasn't heating. Pull all these wires off, straight off. And we got that all disconnected. We can take the harness and get it out of the way. We're going to have one screw here. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out these two screws here. They're 5/16. So we're going to go ahead and take those two screws out. So then we got these two screws out. Assembly should be free, and there we go. There's the old assembly. Now a thing to note on the new assembly, you're going to have these two little slide-ins right here, one in here. And that's going to match up to the bottom of the motor mount here. You see those two slide-ins? We're going to line those up and slide that motor into place. So we've lined up the new motor here. Make sure we also slide in the vent assembly here into the pipe. So we're going to go ahead and replace these two screws. Let's go ahead and do that. So for this part, now that we got those two screws back in, the motor is mounted. We're going to hook up the motor plug. For this machine, we need to replace, we're going to have to take off the old high limit thermostat and put it onto the new assembly. This is a good thermostat, but this new part didn't come with that one. So we're going to go ahead and take that off and we're going to install it into here. It's just two screws and it just goes right in. Alright, so we got that new thermostat in. One more thing I want to notice, this new part here has a different thermostat on top than this one. So we're going to go ahead and take this thermostat off of the old assembly and put it onto this one. Alright, we have all the wires plugged up here, everything is hooked up. We're going to replace the screw into the vent again, and then we're going to go ahead and do reassembly. What I do, grab the drum, going to reinstall the drum back into the dryer. That drum all the way in. There goes two wheels. We're going to want to sit this drum on top of those wheels. Now that we've got the drum on top of those wheels, we are going to take the ribbed side of this belt, place it flat on top of the drum, and we're going to work it back about to the middle of the drum. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now we got the belt about to the middle of the drum, and now we're going to go ahead and do the last tricky part, is we're putting this belt back onto the pulley in the motor. Let's go ahead and do that. So now that we got the belt back on, we're going to get the door back on. We're going to replace the screws. Let's go ahead and do that. We've got the door back on. We're going to go ahead and reconnect the door switch. Door switch is reconnected, and we got one screw in the top, one screw in the top here. Alright, so we got two security screws. Let's go ahead and put those in. Alright, so we got the security screws in. We're going to pull forward on this cover and clip it back into these plastics. Alright, we got the lid back on here. Gonna get screw here and screw here. Alright, so now that we got these screws back in, we're gonna go ahead and give So jump a nice spin here. Make sure it feels nice and smooth, which it does. See the blower wheel turning as well. So look good. We are going to take the lint funnel, get it back onto the machine, and put the screws back in. Alright, so we got the screws back into the lint funnel, all of them. Next thing we're going to do, grab our cover. Alright, now that we got the lint trap back on, the cover, we're going to line up these bottom brackets to these holes, just like that, and just like that. All we're going to do is just simply push it back in. Give it a little smack, it'll clip right in. You're good to go. We're going to replace the lint trap. We're going to put the lint trap back in. All good to go. Let's give it a run.